Hey there YouTube, this is Mr. Budget coming with you with another deck profile. This time it is a Dragon Empire deck profile for a budget deck. This deck is called Dragonic Conqueror Grhyaundra. I know I butchered that name, it's kind of a hard name to pronounce, but I've been testing this deck out for a while. It seems to be pretty interesting. So we'll give you the rundown of the deck, what I'm playing in it, what you could upgrade the deck when your budget refills itself. But lo and behold, this deck is pretty interesting, but it does take a competent player to understand the attack patterns and how you attack and what needs to go first or second, or so on and so forth. But it's a very interesting deck profile, very interesting deck, and we'll jump right into it. First is the grade 3 of the deck. This is Dragconnector Grhyaundra. His ability is that during the main phase, you place him in the rest and you call a Grafe, an Arada unit from its soul to rearguard, and you put him in the rest position. Then after your unit with Arada attacks, you put a Grafe and an Arada unit from your rearguard into soul, stand him, and your front row gets plus 10k. Very simple, does nothing more than that. The second unit in the ride line is Unison Dragon Arada, who has the ability. Uh, sorry. If your soul has a drag gritter of Flames Blade Graph, you may ride this without paying the cost. So that's his Vanguard skill. His Rearguard ability is during the turn. If you have a unit with Graph in its card name on Rearguard, this unit gets plus 5k. That's all it does. Sorry for the glare. Next is the grade 1 of the ride line. This is Drag Gritter of Flame Blade Graph. He also has the same ability if you have the starter, which is Child Dragon Arada in your soul. You may ride without paying the cost. Then his rearguard ability is at the beginning of the battle phase. When you rest his unit, gives your unit with Arada in its card name plus 10k power and the ability to attack from the back row. So this is how this deck gets its 4th attack. So this is the ride line. You can't really change out the ride line for anything else. It has to be this ride line. So we're going to jump right into the grade 3s of the deck. We are playing 3 copies of the boss unit. I don't have a third, so we're going to be using, just for budget reasons, we're going to be using the Chalice as a Persona Ride option until I get my third, or so have you. Next, we're playing the grade 3 support card, which is Artillery Bullet of Duststorm Zaxxas. Zaxxas has the ability during the battle step. If you have an Arada unit on your board, you may counterblast one and give it plus 5k, and if you do, you draw a card. And then whenever your unit with Graph or Arada in his card attacks, he'll get plus 5k. So that means the rearguard that will be attacking and the vanguard that will be attacking will give him plus 5. Last, we're playing the Order, which is 4 copies of Dragconnector. Drag Renaissance. So sorry, these names are really hard to pronounce. This has the same card ability as the Vanguard. So whenever your Vanguard restands, once per turn, you can give your front row plus 10k. So when you play this order, your Vanguard will be giving your front row plus 20k. So pretty much a double Persona Ride on a Persona Ride. It will give the front row plus 30k. So very easy to make front row numbers. Those are all of the grade 3s that we play in the deck. Next, we're going to go to the grade 2s. We play 4 copies of this deck's grade 2, which is Melt Knuckle Golem. That was easy enough to say. So Melt Knuckle Golem has the ability that when you place this card, if you have a Vanguard with Graph in its card name, a grade 3 or greater unit with Graph in its card name may Soul Blast 3 and draw a card. Then he also has the same ability as the Zaxxas. When your Graph or Arada unit attacks, he'll get plus 5k, so the same thing. So the tech that I'm playing in this deck for budget reasons is Heat Smashing Dragon, who has the ability when your Vanguard attacks, if your opponent has 2 or less rearguards, you may put him into your soul and give your Vanguard plus 10k. So in the early turns of the game, your opponent really isn't going to have any rearguards because normally no one does. So this is a free 10k booster. Your grade 2 Vanguard attacks, making a 20k Vanguard swing. So you're going to use that in the early turns, and then besides that, this is just discard fodder for whatever reason. So those are all of our grade 2s, only 8 of them. Going into the biggest portion of the deck, which are grade 1s. We're playing 4 copies of a Effect Perfect Guard. 4 copies of this deck, which is Recreation Griffin, who has the unique ability when he attacks, he may counterblast 1, give himself plus 2k, so it becomes a 10k beater. And then if you do so, you retire one of your opponent's rear guard. So this is the only unit in the deck that can retire your opponent's cards. So things like Smashing Dragon can trigger. That's really about all it does. The card abilities in this deck are very simple, but when put together, they become very strong. We are playing a little bit of counter charge in this deck. We're using Dragon Monk Gojo. I would change this out for when your budget does increase, I would change this out for the Dragon Empire grade 1 that allows you to search out your orders so you can play them from your drop zone. That would be the case in this instance. I would trade this card out for. Then we're also playing 4 copies of Drag Ritter Midhat. Midhat has the ability when your Vanguard restands, you may retire this unit and draw a card. So, just so you can have ways of refunding units that you played out of your hand, and so to keep your hand healthy. Those are all of the grade 1s. Next, we're going to go to triggers. So we are playing the Dragon Empire over trigger. This does help the deck very much. 3 draw, 4 heal, 4 crit, 4 front. Fronts are here just so you can get more bigger numbers in your front line. Even though with a Persona Rider you'll be hitting for 30, but who doesn't like 40, 50k front row plus buffs? So that's what it's here for. Also, it's bigger shield value. I would trade in when your budget, trade in for the draw PG effect triggers, so you have a bigger shield value. I don't really care for the effect heals because they really don't do much, and the effect crits don't really do much for this deck either. So that's all of the triggers. That's the entirety of the Dragconnector deck. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you find this deck a bit interesting. I know I do. It's different. It's not your normal Dragon Empire deck, but it gives. I don't know what I can translate this to, because it's not Dragon Empire, it's not Kagero, it's definitely not Norakami. I really couldn't say what this deck really represents in the Dragon Empire landscape, but it's something new, and I hope they create more things like this. That way you're not just playing the overall retire, get a lot of power and swing face kind of strategy. Which, funny enough, this does gain a lot of power, but it has little to no retire or bind effects whatsoever. So I don't know what I would give this deck a comparison to, but I hope we get more interesting bosses like this. So if you like what you saw, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. If you guys want to see this deck in action, I'm looking for, let's say, 10 likes on this video, and then I will do a fight video showcasing what this deck can do. So as always, this has been Mr. Budget. Keep it budget, keep it friendly, keep it fun, and we will see you guys here in the next one. Peace.